Yeah, that didn't sound quite right, did it?
I finally got my Rode wireless mics working.
Oh, shoot.
Wish it would have been working when we needed it last week.
I've got to do something with that camera.
There's Eric.
I have one of those Osbot Meet 2s that came today. And
That's a nice little camera.
thanks to Mike Schmidt, I have one of these armatures now.
Oh, you bought
He
that
suggested. And it's
that Elgato
just
one?
yeah, no, it's not the Elgato one. He put it in the chat and I got it. And the only thing that I don't like about it is that I guess I could move it so it's in the center of my screen. So I'm looking at the camera, but I'm still looking a little down at it, or it's looking down at me. So I'll have to play
Probably
with
the latter.
it. Yeah.
We're live streaming. Looks good.
Cameras often don't think highly of us.
Yes.
And you blame them.
By the way, Eric, you mentioned Anderson Japanese Gardens. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous place to go and spend the day.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yep. That's in Rockford, if anybody didn't know.
Oh, you went to Rockford. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, check show notes. You guys should have access. Look like everybody's there. Yep. All right. 368. Let me get this started.
That's how many degrees it is outside? Because that's what it felt like.
Yeah. Oh. Yes, indeed.
It was cooler here today, Chuck. It was like 70 something.
Oh, wow. No, the feels like
coming your
temperature.
way.
Check. Check 1, 2, check.
Feels like temperature today was 103.
Oh, it's like
Yeah,
Wow.
it was 70s here. It was 70s here today.
Yeah.
It was
65
gorgeous
right now.
here. If it weren't for the mosquitoes, it'd be perfect.
Nice weather to take the metro, Mike. That's why I had to go downtown today. Like it when it was cool. All right. That. Now we need this. Looks good. All right. I'm ready. Well, my notes here. All right. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to episode 368 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, Vision Pro, Mac, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg. We've got a great panel this week. Mike Potter has joined us. I'm thrilled to have you. How you doing, Mike?
Always thrilled to be here. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got plenty to discuss about Mac stock from this past week. Last week, I should say. And Chuck Joyner has joined us. How you doing, Chuck?
I'm doing great, Dave. Fresh off Mac stock and feeling good.
Yep, the great stuff. Marty Jensis, you've also made it to here. Appreciate it. How you doing?
It's a Thursday. The work week is almost over, and it's always a good joy for me to be with this group. So
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
me too. It's been a long week of work here for me as well. And last but not certainly not least, Eric Bolden is here. How you doing, Eric?
Great. It's been a wonderful week. Storms are all past now.
Yeah, it was bad yesterday.
So yeah.
It was really bad here yesterday. It was some pretty nasty ones. We're coming fresh off of last weekend's Mac stock. We're going to talk about that, get a little bit of a recap, and hit some of all the normal other topics we hit for this week. So let's go ahead and start right off. First off, I'm going to lead into the Vision Pro segment of MacSpock. Actually, with the Vision Profiles podcast, of course, with Eric, myself, Daniel, and Marty. We had a nice little Vision Pro session that was kind of fun. We really enjoyed it. It was very warm in that room, but we made through it. So, but I was able to put. We had four actual Vision Pros that were in place that we were doing some demos. Mine and Eric's and Marty's, and thank you to Tracy with her daughter Mallory were there in there as well, and she was like just cranking them out. She was like really good at doing the demo. I was like, well, she must be working in the Apple Store or something, because I mean, I was watching as I was on a lull, and like, holy cow, you really know how to do that guest mode, because I know Eric and I and Marty was too struggling a little bit in the guest mode. So I think that kind of proved, what we really need some improvements on that guest mode. For Vision Pro to make it a little bit easier, because it was like, that was the point where I was just having people put in my passcode. I mean, I can never remember it. I didn't care, but and I'm sitting right there. So, but then they were struggling along it. So there were some demos I did where I actually put it on the screen on my iPad Pro 13. So people, and I just kind of talked through some of the stuff, but it's not the same. You want to be able to see it. So. What did you think, Marty? How it all turned out? I think it was an absolutely great session. We had a ton of people come in too.
Yeah, that surprised me the most, because the product's been out for a while. People have had an opportunity to come and try it out at the store. Maybe they have friends who use it. Those kinds of things. So it surprised me. We had so many people coming in, but I think they came in because they wanted to try the experience without the store demo. I had a group of people, well, two of the people that I had came in and said, I just want to watch the Metallica video. And so,
which they're the new latest one.
Yeah, which they're not going to be able to do on, in the store demo, so they had some things they wanted to see. And then there were some folks who had never tried it on before. They had maybe a Meta. We had one guy who had a Meta at home, and but this was his first time with the Vision Pro.
Yep. How about you, Eric? How'd you think it did for you on your side?
It was a lot of fun, and it was nice too, because it was quiet at the beginning. So as we were kind of getting set up and figuring out what to put where, we could all talk to each other. That kind of the old school user group, bring in a machine to demo, and then everybody talks about it. That was a great feeling. That worked out really well.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Chuck, I know you poked your head in there a little bit, but you didn't stay very long.
Well, for one thing, it was a little warm. Second, I didn't want to intrude, because I knew there were people there that had never seen a Vision Pro, and Marty was really terrific about walking me through a lot of things last year. But the sense I get is that there's still a lot of excitement around it. I mean, this is the second year at MacStock that you've done a Vision Pro meetup of some kind, and it's wall-to-wall people. And
it was.
Everybody, wants to. And this year, with the guest mode in place, it was a lot easier for you all to be, for everyone to crowd around and see what the person was seeing inside of the Vision Pro. So I watched that for a while. I think it's interesting, and it's always interesting to watch somebody. There's something over here in their vision, and so they almost turn their body to look at it. And of course, you don't have to, because it's in the headset. So I think there's still a new body language that needs to be learned. And if you get a chance to watch somebody doing a Vision Pro in an Apple store, see if you don't see the same thing.
Chuck, there was a little bit of difference that I noticed. Last year, there was a lot of us having to coach folks how to do the gestures. Now, I don't know if the gestures got better, or people kind of have begun to incorporate or know enough about the gestures that they're able to do it. But I didn't have to do a lot of correction with folks. It was rather intuitive. They went in and they pulled pages, they tapped on things, they did. And last year was much more clunkier, and it seemed like a struggle. And that was frustrating, because you're excited about the product and you've used it for a while, so you know how to do it. but you have a new person in front of you that hasn't used the product, and you want it to go really well for them. This year, it seemed like people had the gestures down; they knew what to do.
Yeah, a couple of the new ones. You know what? Before I go that if any further, Mike, I don't think you didn't get a chance to come down at all. You were probably pretty busy, right?
Well, actually, I wanted to ask Marty a question real quick, then I'll get to that, Dave. So the gestures, do you think that it's because you are running the newer beta software? Has the operating system's ability to interpret the gestures that people are doing improved that much that maybe it doesn't require as much precision as it did last year? Or do you think it is just familiarity with it?
I'd like to think it's the latter, familiarity, but I probably want to believe it's the former, that the operating system has gotten better in interpreting it, and the setup. I did a lot of setups with mine, so they went in and they had to do all the ocular stuff, and they had to do their hands and such, and I think that's gotten better too, in terms of interpreting.
And the initial setup, because it has guest mode, isn't quite as onerous as it was. I believe. Yeah. To answer your question, Dave, no, I didn't get a chance to get down there because I got snagged to go on to Tech Savvy Lawyer with Michael DJ Eisenberg.
Oh, that's
so
right.
Wow.
That's right.
We were upstairs recording that, and we actually got started late and ran late, so we kind of missed the whole Vision Pro Profiles meetup thing. And to be honest, I've never tried a Vision Pro. Never.
Wow.
Oh my.
Oh, wow.
I guess
we need to fix that.
I've had opportunity, thanks to MacStock. I've had opportunity. I haven't tried one yet. So
we need to fix that.
so it's kind of quiet in the background here. I don't know.
I think we need to have a meetup here, Mike, and then I get you to do a demo.
I'll be in Chicago in a couple of weeks, Mike.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I could probably come down for that. We'll get a little.
Yeah, we can we'll have 3 people to demo with you.
Yeah.
Vision
Okay, so-
Profiles meetup, August 2025. You heard it
There
here
you
first.
go.
Okay, so if I heard right, there are 2 of you that will tie Mike to the chair while the third one forces the Vision Pro on his head.
Which is
Well,
always a great way to
also
get people to love a product.
Yeah.
We also have to put something in his mouth because the objections I don't want to hear about.
Nothing here.
One thing I'll bring up before we get to the rest of the MacStock review, Marty, you recommend me getting some replacement light seal cushions. I was able to find them right away. Here they are, right here. There's the box.
Oh, really?
Wow. That was fast.
I got 2 of them. Yeah, they came like the next day. It was like great.
Did it help?
It did. I mean, I think it's not because I think that I don't know. I didn't wear it that much that it was going to be that smooth. But it was. You saw when I was struggling. The damn thing kept popping off all the time.
Yeah.
So I put it on. I put one of the new ones on, and it's working great. So
Yeah, mine
still
still
wish I
has
gave-
Chuck's. Mine has
You get
Chuck's
what you
sweat
pay
on
for.
it from last year. Yeah.
Gee, thanks, Marty. I'm flattered that you maintained it.
Yeah. It's like the Shroud of Turin. It's the light seal of Chuck.
Wow. Okay.
But by next year, this time, Chuck will have a Vision Pro.
I hope so.
Is that a request, a threat, or a prediction?
All of the above. I figure if we have to, when one of us upgrades, we will send you a Vision Pro so you have one.
There you go.
You'll just have to order a specific light seal so it's comfortable because you're going to be wearing it a lot as we call you and say, "Hey."
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that too. It's got 3 different sizes. I mean, there was the two W's. There's an N, and what was the other one? There's one other letter.
There's a W plus and
W plus. That's it.
Yeah.
The W, which
Or-
I got, that's normal.
Or sometimes it's simpler just to reshape your head.
Yeah.
It's easier to do when you're younger,
Yes.
Yeah.
under
It
3.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, oh my gosh. So MacStock, let's just do a quick recap. What was some of the presentations that stood out for you, Mike? I mean, you got to see everybody. You were really excited about that. So, was there any number of ones that you actually enjoyed?
I'll come clean. Part of the deal with MacStock is I don't always get to sit through an entire presentation, and that's been that was the case again this year. When I get to sit through the presentations is when I edit the digital pass, and that's when I hear everything that I missed during the weekend. But there were just so many standouts.
There was.
Brett's talk on Mastodon was great, and I loved seeing people signing up for it or reactivating their accounts and reaching out and friending Macstock, while we were there live during his presentation. That was great. I loved Chris Cook's demonstration.
Yeah, she was great.
It's a little like asking a parent who their favorite child is. We had so many fantastic talks. Marty's talk, the workshop that opened the weekend was great. I did like Katie and Doc's presentation. That workshop was great too, because the whole driving thrust behind that presentation was building confidence on camera. Which, as you heard her explain, she would have rather hidden in a garbage can than ever, be on camera. And yet now here she is doing live streams all the time. And that kind of thing, I think a lot of people are uncomfortable with, is being on camera and putting yourself out there like we are right now, live to the world. And I thought that was a great way. The way they presented it was great. They weren't afraid to put out a couple embarrassing pictures to show where they had been in the past versus where they are now. That's just a simple example. Brittany's presentation was great. I don't know. I could just name every single presenter the entire weekend. Every single one knocked it out of the park.
I was excited when you put me as I was the lead in from Kate and Doc, Katie and Doc. So that kind of the follow up. I was after them. Yeah. That was exciting because already people were already piqued their interest, and it brought them over to me. So I got to really give them some good stuff, and it turned out really good too. I was very pleased of how that turned out as well.
It worked out really, really well this year. Every year for several years now, I try to group presentations together, but because we had the 3 days of 6 workshops and gosh, how many different 45-minute presentations did we have? Something like 3,
good amount.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10. Yeah, we had 10 scheduled, and we ended up with 9 because someone wasn't able to make it. But all those presentations, because we had all those presentations, it was actually a little bit easier to group them into like presentations. So, of course, you and Allison with her photos workshop and Katie and Doc, just getting those the security type presentations like Jeff and Kirsten on Friday, keeping those grouped together, I think, helped people maintain a focus on the topic, even though the different presentations weren't exactly the same, but they were in that same wheelhouse. And so it allowed people to kind of maintain a focus and get in that mindset for the talks as they went on through the day. So, I like to do that if I can, and it just worked out really well. We had a lot of social media talks on Sunday.
Yeah. So, I think somebody's better half actually signed up for Mastodon. I was pleasantly surprised that happened. So people were signing up for Mastodon. I got I was getting a lot of followers after that happened too. So it was kind of cool.
I had 4 or 5 during Brett's talk.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Right. So
it was great.
So lots of great things that happened, and then just the activities at night. We all got together. It was great to see Dave and Pete and Adam doing the Mac Geek Gab. That was a lot of fun. We had a blast. And then Mac Voices Live. That was an awesome thing that we came up with last minute there, and it actually turned out amazing. We had all about 7 or 8 of us on stage, and mostly all the regulars on Mac Voices Live. And I thought it just turned out great. We were engaging, and we were asking questions, and I thought that was like one of the great, one of the more highlights that we had too.
Yeah, absolutely. Those evening things, Mac Geek Gab has become kind of a MacStock tradition now.
Yeah.
What have they done it 4 times now? One kind of unofficially and then 3 officially, something like that?
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
At least. Maybe 5. I kind of lost track, but it's become a regular thing at MacStock, and I look forward to it every time.
Yeah.
And maybe Mac Voices Live will become a regular thing.
Good.
Now, Chuck and I should probably admit we kind of threw that together in the last, 4 days before MacStock?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
You've done that before.
Yeah, and we had, as I recall, they were scheduling things that were in flux, shall we say?
Yes.
And so, and the last thing I wanted to do was to step on anybody's toes, but it worked out, and yeah, I was really pleased with it. I mean, even the mic passing thing worked. I thought extremely well.
Yeah.
So,
if you had one more person in that panel, though, Chuck, we wouldn't have been able to fit you all on camera. So
yeah. It was real close.
To limit it to 8.
Yeah.
It was real close. So one on the last person who's now, I'll announce this, that Jill McKinley is going to be becoming a regular contributor on the show now. She did an amazing presentation on health. I mean, I thought that was just it really kind of inspired me to look at that a lot closer than I have been going through all the things she did to help her lose some weight and stay healthy, and using all Apple technology to do it, using her Apple Watch, and mostly her Apple Watch and the Fitness Plus. That was a really great. She just really knocked it out of the park with that one.
In retrospect, that probably was one of my favorite presentations, because Jill began the presentation from a place of vulnerability, exposing the struggle that she's had with weight loss, putting those struggles out there for people to hear, and then moving on from that. That was essentially the backdrop for the talk, and then moving on from that to how she incorporated the Apple technology to help her out. And she's just had an amazing year, and I think being able to present that at MacStock was kind of a culmination of that year for her.
And she's really honed in on her presentation skills. She's presented a number of times at MacStock. I thought that was probably one of her best. I mean, as far as she's just concise and right into it, and she was engaged in the audience. So it was great.
Fantastic presentation, but you can't discount her first one where she threatened to beat people with sticks. I mean,
that's true.
Yeah,
that is true.
That was
good. And lastly, the last person I'd like to mention is Mike Burke. I thought he did an amazing job, and what really got me engaged is the fact that he's obviously been a very good presenter for a long time, and being able to, he braved using his iPhone to change slides in Keynote, and it worked great. But he walked the audience. He was in the audience with everybody as he talked, and that's probably one of the biggest things to get people engaged. And then, unless his topic was good, he was doing a lot of things in automation and using Keyboard Maestro. Keyboard Maestro obviously had a lot of discussions. Brittany talked about it as well, and it's becoming quite the interesting tool that people use to do a lot more automation.
And don't forget what Mike did leading up to MacStock. I don't know how many people realize this, but he produced a series of live streams showing the process he went through to build and create his workshop at MacStock. In fact, he just released a 5th one today? I'm not sure which day it was. Kind of wrapping everything up. So that was amazing. I saw the very first one, and I'm still catching up on the rest of them. But it's the kind of process that we all go through internally, but he was verbalizing the entire thing. And the first one was an hour long, and my impression at the end of it was, anybody who's going to get up and give a presentation to a group of people needs to watch this series, because it was fascinating watching the thought process as he would come up with an idea and say, no, that's not right, and go back. And he was literally verbalizing everything that we go through otherwise. I loved it.
Yeah, me too. Anything else that stood out for you guys that we didn't cover you want to add before we move on to next topic?
I want to throw just two things out, Dave.
Yeah,
The
please.
first one is that I've had notes. Well, let's take that back. Yeah, I'll do it that way. I had notes from every single session. I learned something or had an action item from every single session, even Allison's, and which is always surprising.
Yeah.
But the other thing, though, that struck me about this was that not only was it informational, but in a lot of cases, especially with Doc and Katie, they were sort of the flagship for it. But there were aspirational things there that, like you were talking about Jill's thing and Brett's thing, made you want to get on Mastodon. Jill's thing made you want to pay attention to all the health utilities with Apple Watch.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Schmitz made you want to pay attention to a lot more of the AI stuff. I mean, I could go on and on because it was true for almost every single session, that it wasn't just here's information for you. It was kind of here's why you want to pay attention to this and why it's A, good for you, B, helps your productivity, and maybe C, just plain old fun. So, that was something that I don't recall from prior years. That's not casting any aspersions on prior years, but it just seemed to be like an extra theme of some kind that was running under the current of MacStock this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? All right. Well, MacStock's in the books. We're excited, and I was so excited to announce the next year's MacStock 10. You got the July 10th, 11th, and 12th, 2026 is the dates.
Right.
And also, I'm going to mention, we'll mention it at the end of the show too, is the digital pass will be coming out very soon. I know, Mike, you're going to have some hard work to get that out, and everybody, all attendees are getting that included in their admission, so they're going to get that as a bonus. And then you out there who wasn't able to make MacStock, you'll be able to grab it too. And we'll talk about that at the end of the show with the links and everything towards the end here. But meanwhile, let's go in a little more Vision Pro. Only one. There was a few stories, but I think we covered it pretty well with our coverage on the demos we did. People are still using Vision OS. The Vision OS 26 Beta 3 came out, and that is they've got some good fixes on it. We talked about it a little bit last week. Marty, was there some that actually is this not Vision? We do also have a Beta 3 of Vision OS 2.6, right? Because obviously we don't use it, but I'm confused here. Is it saying 2.6 on the? There it is. It's 2.6 beta. That just came out. So this is just probably some bug fixes and such until they get ready to release Vision Pro, Vision OS 26.
That's 26.
That's very confusing. You got 2.6 and 26. So that's out. For those of you who don't brave the betas like myself, Marty, and Eric, that there is another beta for that, and that should be. I would anticipate that'll get released pretty soon here because this is the third beta. Speaking of beta, there's also Apple did see the third beta of iOS 18.6 as well as iPad OS. Again, just some bug fixes and such. There really wasn't much to talk about it. And of those still running that, I'm still running. The only one I don't put that on is my daily driver, which is my iPhone. I'm still sporting 18.5.1. So we'll keep that on until I feel comfortable we can get on to 26. I'm missing out on some stuff, but I did, as I mentioned last week, I did give in and put it on my primary iPad Pro 13, and I'm absolutely loving that with the multi windows and all the great stuff they added. So we'll definitely be covering a lot of that as time progresses here, as we get closer to its release in probably in September, like they always do. They also put out the version for tvOS 18.6 as well as watchOS 11.6. That's out as well. And in the Mac area, Sequoia is going to get an update too. There's going to be a 15.6. The public betas are now released on those as well. So those are going to be out here pretty soon here, and so you've got those as well. And then public beta for iOS 26. That's usually, they said it was going to be available in July. We're now with July 17th as we record this. And they have no times. Has not been any time frame that has surfaced. Mark Gurman said that the public beta should be released on or around Wednesday, July 23rd. In other words, that's next week. And it should be iOS 26, iPadOS 26, macOS 26, and more will come. It definitely won't be Vision Pro because Vision Pro stays in developers' hands only. But they're also doing betas on HomePods software as well as AirPods firmware. So you're going to see that as well. So now we'll have it in the public's hands, and we get to hear some of the folks that brave it that much in public and see what happens there. Let's see. There's a couple iOS features I wanted to talk about a little bit on iOS 26. There's some features that will only be available on the newer iPhones, and I'll kind of run through these real quick. The Vision Intelligence with screenshots will only be the 15 Pro and newer, of course, because that's Apple Intelligence, because that's only on iPhone 15 Pros and higher. And then the live translation in messages, FaceTime and phone, that's going to be another one that's only going to be 15 Pro and higher. You have the lock screen 3D effect. That is kind of cool. If you tried that, Marty, with the 3D effect on that is really cool on the iPhone. That would be iPhone 12 and newer. So they opened that one up. Shortcut actions with AI powers. That's going to be 15 Pro or later. Okay, you're seeing the consistency here. All the Apple Intelligence stuff, they don't want to put it on the slower, older iPhones. So it's going to be 15 Pro and higher. Apple Wallet order tracking. The wallet is they're going to have some tracking that's built into that. You've got the Genmoji and Image Playground upgrades, of course, same with AI, and message background creation and poll suggestions, 15 Pro and newer. We've tried that, Marty. That was kind of fun to do that polls, and I'm going to look forward to doing that with the folks that aren't geeks like us to do that. So yeah, there's going to be some interesting stuff that is on there as well. And other thing I mentioned too, this was noted, is some new iPhone screenshots are getting some 3 new powerful features. The visual intelligence is going to allow you to there's 3 things. You can save an image for later, or you can share an image with someone else. But iOS 26, it's because of Apple Intelligence, it's going to do things here like add to calendar. You can do a screenshot and add it to calendar. Number 2, you can do an image search with Google, Etsy, and more. You can go through and there's another image search. We can search as a new screenshot tool that way. And then you can ask ChatGPT about your screenshot. So you can bring it on there as well. So some cool things looking forward on ChatGPT integration with that. Again, probably if it's ChatGPT, you might still be able to use the older iPhones because ChatGPT is its own app, but it won't be integrated like this is describing. But you'd want to be using a 15 Pro or higher. So a couple things on Mac. Again, I mentioned the third beta of macOS Sequoia 15.6 is seeded. Again, not much to talk about there. It's just it was released. It's going to be releasing soon. Just some updates. I don't put my primary Macs on any of the betas at the moment, but I have my Mac Minis. I do so. And the other thing port my Mac Mini M4. I got one of them that's running beta. So again, and then the other thing I want to mention is in Mac OS 26 Tahoe, they're not bringing back Launchpad. So it was a whole new look and feel, and then they removed it. They're removing it, but there is still a way that you can actually bring it back, and that requires some going into utilities and going into commands and with a terminal command. So I don't think a normal person would want to do that. Did any of you guys here use Launchpad? I use it once in a while, but I think it's kind of been it's a thing of the past, honestly. How about you, Mike?
It's a thing of the nobody ever used it. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's perfect.
No, I don't know. I put my applications folder in the dock. I set it to grid view, and that is my launch pad, if you will. And if I'm not using the applications folder in the dock, which is usually where I go to first, then it's command space and I just use Spotlight to find the app that I want to launch. So
Yeah.
Launchpad was always kind of superfluous. For some reason, Apple seemed to think that we wanted and needed an iPad-like interface on our Macs, and we don't. And I think the fact that they're taking it away proves that we didn't.
Yep. Can agree with that. Anybody else have thoughts on Launchpad? Do you use it, Chuck?
No, and Dave, I'm kind of strange about launchers. Launchers, I think, are a very private, or no, not private, but personal thing. Like Mike has a really interesting idea, and I never thought about doing it that way. I'm going to try that and see how I like it. But I think it's Alfred that a lot of people use. If I remember correctly, sometimes it's just the Spotlight can be your sort of a launcher for you. I like Launch Bar myself. So I looked at Launcher when it came out. It's like, well, this isn't really the way that I want to launch apps. But if the more options you give people, the better. And if the launcher works for you, great. I for whatever reason, I'm with you, Mike. I don't think it got adopted very well. I don't know, because it just takes up a full screen. Maybe that's it. But at the end of the day, whatever helps you get to your apps is fine with me.
The applications folder on the dock, by the way, the applications folder on the dock, by the way, Chuck, is something I do for a lot of new Mac users, because I think a lot of folks will agree that discoverability in Mac OS is kind of low, and that if we're gonna play devil's advocate here, that's really the reason for Launchpad, because discoverability of how to find and launch an application. If you don't know, you don't know. Once you know, you know. It's that kind of thing. So taking the applications folder and putting it someplace very visible right in front of folks and saying it's that blue folder with the thing that looks like an A on it. Click that. They get a nice little grid view. They can scroll through. It's in alphabetical order, and they can just select the app they want, and it launches. In fact, I do that with my home folder as well. I don't put that on new Mac users' docks, but I put it on my dock, because it's a nice quick way to get to the contents of my home folder. But putting that applications folder down there and giving folks a nice quick way to get to stuff that doesn't take over their screen, like you pointed out, Launchpad takes over the screen, and that by itself can be confusing. Oh, what happened? Why is this happening? How do I get out of this? That kind of thing. And when you click on the grid view of the applications folder, it's very obvious. It's just this little tiny thing that pops up, shows your apps, you select what you want, and you move on. So that's just a little thing I do, and people seem to be able to grok that, So that's why I do it.
I just did it now, and it's
really cool.
It is. I definitely like it. Okay,
personally,
Mike,
I like grid view, but you could do any of the views if you prefer them. But I like grid because I like to be able to tell from the icons what app I'm about to click on.
Well, it feels like Launcher without taking, to some degree, without taking up the screen, and so it's an interesting way to do it. I think you just made me change part of my workflow, because I usually I will use Launcher. Excuse me, scratch that, Launch Bar, but sometimes you go looking and sometimes you just can't remember the name of something, especially if you don't use it often. So nice tip, really nice tip.
Yeah,
I can't tell you how many times I open up my applications folder and I say, I know the app I'm looking for is in here, but I can't for the life of me remember the name of it. And I'm scrolling up and down trying to find the icon that I know what the icon looks like, but if I don't know the name, how am I going to find it?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Don't get old.
Anything you want to add? Or Marty, go ahead.
Yeah, I was old school. I was opening up a new Finder window, and I had it set default to applications.
Oh, there you
And
go.
I just did the right click on the application menu item, and it gave me the option to put it in the menu bar. Now I'm going to have to remember to forget that old muscle memory of opening a Finder window to get to applications and just use that little icon that's in my dock.
Yeah. Though, Chuck hit the nail on the head. He said there are so many different ways to do it. And when you find the way that works for you, stick with it. And that's the beauty of Mac OS. It's something that we don't get in some of Apple's other operating systems. But in Mac OS, we have that ultimate flexibility to make the Mac work the way that we want it to work. And, hey, if opening a Finder window and going straight to applications works for you, awesome. That's a great way to do it. If going to the menus of the Finder at the top and going to applications that way works for you, wonderful. For me, it's putting the app folder in the dock.
Yep, I would agree. Eric, we'll go ahead and wrap it up with you.
I just like that. I don't know why I never even came across that feature before, but it's really cool because I always have far more apps than I can put in that little bar across the screen as they get smaller, smaller, and smaller. And it's always the one I didn't put in that I'm then looking for. So, yeah, I can get rid of a whole pile of apps now because I only use them occasionally. And then I just switch over to the applications folder. It's perfect.
Yep. All right. So let's move on for a few other topics here. Google has dropped support for Mac OS Big Sur, so so Chrome support will be gone from Big Sur, and only Firefox and Edge will remain. If you're still supporting Big Sur, your options for secure browsers are going to be shrinking fast, as Google is now going to confirm that the version 138, which was released in July of 2025, will be the final update for Mac OS 11 users. Chrome 139 will be expected August 5th and will no longer run on Big Sur. So that leaves Firefox and Edge as the only browsers still supporting it. Safari stopped supporting Big Sur back in 2023 with version 16.6. So all the newer versions are just have to have Ventura or later. And I guess the question is, why does this matter? Well, if you're still using Big Sur, you definitely have two choices. You can switch, but Big Sur's not getting any security updates anymore, if I'm not mistaken. So that's another thing you got to start thinking about if you're running Big Sur, or if you have a Mac that doesn't run anything higher than Big Sur, then you're kind of end of the road there. So, but it's good. I like you, Mike. I use Firefox all the time, so I think that's kind of cool. Firefox is still going to continue to support it for now. What do you think?
Oh, the short flip answer is get a better browser. Stop using Chrome, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
Safari. Look, Safari naturally falls off every 2 years anyway. It's what Apple does. When they release the new operating system, you get updates for 2 years back. But if your Mac isn't going to support that, well, you just don't use Safari. The fact is there's a lot of people who are still using Macs that cannot upgrade to the latest version of the operating system. And if you can't upgrade to the latest version of the operating system, and there are various reasons why people are using those older Macs. One, they still run great. Let's just say that. They still run great, but there may be other reasons they do it. It might be budgetary. It might be, there's all kinds of reasons. So let's say you are on a Mac. The best answer to maintain a secure browsing experience is, well, my answer is usually switch to Firefox. Stop using Safari, switch to Firefox. That's always the advice I give to somebody who can't otherwise upgrade their Mac to something newer. It's great that Mac Minis are $599, but still, it's not always something that people can do.
Sure.
Now, what drives me crazy about this story is that when you look at the system requirements for Google Chrome right now, if you want to run Google Chrome on Windows, it works on Windows 10 and up with an Intel Pentium 4 or higher. And yet they can't
That's a blast from the past.
They can't seem to make Chrome, or they don't want to make Chrome work on a Mac that can run Big Sur. Yeah. Come on. Seriously. Microsoft can with Edge, though they do say that come September, Edge won't support it anymore either. And that's because they're probably a little bit behind in terms of adopting the latest Chromium engine and whatnot. But use Firefox. If you're on a Mac that can't go past Big Sur, use Firefox, and you'll be good for it probably at least another year, maybe two. Yeah, maybe two.
Depends. Anybody else want to add jump in on this on browsers?
I feel shamed. I am caught in the Chrome ecosystem for work, for Google Docs, for all of that stuff. And I try to get away, but, maybe in a world where I stop working and I don't have to interact with people who are so tied into Google Docs as a framework that I can make the switch to some of these other browsers. I think I'm going to have to parse out my work between browsers. So this is for work. This is for everything else I do.
Yeah.
Marty, that's something that I started a long time ago. That there is one browser that I will use 99.9% exclusively for work. And then there are other browsers that I will use for personal use. But I really like the idea of knowing that everything, including maybe some of the passwords, although that really has gone away because of 1Password. But everything, if I did something for work, I did it in that browser. And so that means history is there, all those things, all the cookies are segregated over there. And you just got to figure out which browser it is that will be the most compatible with whatever it is you're doing, whether it's Google or whether it's Microsoft or whomever that you're being told you have to use.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike. You want to add something?
Yeah, I do want to add something. Marty, you are caught in the Google trap that Google wants you to be caught in. Google wants you to hear Google Docs and Google Drive and all that stuff and think that you have to use Chrome, but they're two completely different things. Google Docs and Google Drive and all the other services that they provide do not require Google Chrome. You can use them just fine with Safari. You can use them just fine with Firefox. It is true, though, that it's a good idea to separate things. And browsers like Firefox and Chrome and whatnot can have profiles, so you can have one profile for business and one profile for personal, or just do what I do and Chuck does, and you probably do too. Have a different browser, one for business and one for personal. I've just been able to extricate myself away from Chrome and not use it ever at all.
Yeah, Jeff Gamet got me into using Workana, and I use that for maintaining all my podcast links and pages. And even this show, I've got all the pages and tabs laid out in a Workana framework. But I just searched and found out Workana has a spaces and tab manager for Firefox as a plugin.
There you go.
So that would be a
relatively
big
new
part of my work, to move over.
Yeah. Jeff is the one who pointed out to me that the was it Locana? I can't remember what it's called.
Workana
was really pretty much exclusively for Chrome, and that's why he had to use it. But I think the extension that you're talking about is fairly new.
Yeah.
Yep. Anything you want to add, Eric, before we move on?
Just that whenever possible, I like to have at least two browsers available. I start to get nervous if I have only one, because if something happens, it's always, use your browser to go here and download a new one. So, two running browsers. Yeah.
And when you talked about work, I have been using Edge exclusively for work, primarily because we're living in the Microsoft ecosystem and at work for most things. I think the browser works really well. I use Edge on the iPhone for work because they can keep it secure. So whenever I open a link that's sent to me through my work email, you can't. So we're blocked even taking screenshots. So we can't even take screenshots of stuff that's on that. Whereas if we open a link that's specific to our systems, now I can get to it because it uses Edge, the Edge iOS browser to do it. So I found Edge to be good. I've been getting pretty used to it. I've stopped pretty much using Chrome. I still have it installed on my Macs, but sometimes you have to go to it. But yeah, I've been the same. I've been using Firefox most of the time, and I sync all my bookmarks and everything. Have the Firefox account set up, and that it syncs across all the Macs I have and any PCs. So it's been a great browser for me for a long time. So I haven't stopped. So all right, let's go ahead and move on. Let's talk a little bit about ChatGPT. The ChatGPT Plus. That's what Marty and I and Chuck have, and I think you have it, Eric. I don't know if you may not. Has a new record mode on the Mac for meeting transcription. OpenAI has expanded access to record mode in ChatGPT for macOS, bringing the AI-powered transcription feature to the Plus subscribers. After it was initially rolled out to business users last month, the new capability will add a simple record button to the input window. So in the desktop app, so it allows you to be able to capture both microphone and system audio during meetings or calls. When the recording stops, ChatGPT processes the audio on OpenAI servers, generating a structured notes complete with summaries, action items, and time-stamped references. Microphone systems and audio permissions must be enabled in order to do this. Sessions are limited to 120 minutes or 2 hours, and then the original audio is deleted after the transcription, so it's likely to be a convenient addition. So some paying for ChatGPT. So interesting to see that this is in place. Teams already does it now because we use transcriptions at work all the time. We don't allow ChatGPT, so it's blocked. So obviously for work, that's not going to do me much good. But there's companies out there that are using ChatGPT, so this might be a great feature. Marty, what do you think on this?
I'm immediately thinking, how can I weaponize this? But beyond that, I know Zoom does some like meeting notes summaries and things like that of transcripts, and I've been in meetings where that's happened. I'm wondering if using ChatGPT gives a little bit more flexibility in terms of what you can do, that you're not kind of locked into the automated system that Zoom does. Yeah. And you can, there should be a better term for it, manipulate, notes or request things out of the notes that you can't typically do just with the Zoom. And there were times you take the notes out of Zoom and then put them in ChatGPT to fit them in with an agenda, so it looks like your notes were written directly in the agenda. It's quite possible could be all seamless with this rollout.
Absolutely. Anybody else have any thoughts on this, Chuck?
Just that it seems like everybody's copying everybody else. Everybody's trying to be first to market with a particular feature, and then 2 weeks to a month later, that feature shows up, in a variation of some kind somewhere else. And so I don't know. At this point, I start to wonder whether features are really the thing that is going to differentiate one model from another, or whether it's going to be the price, whether it's going to be the results. It really is the Wild West. So but I'm particularly interested in seeing the implementation of this and how it works and how intrusive it is, if at all.
Yeah. Go ahead, Marty.
Yeah, I was thinking, if ChatGPT is part of the Apple Intelligence environment, then this provides another tool through Apple Intelligence. If people go out to their ChatGPT, their ChatGPT service, it provides another tool that they can use within that same ecosystem. Instead of having to open up Zoom and doing a meeting that way, or collecting notes with that, or Descript, or there's a whole bunch of other sources for taking audio notes live. So just the fact that it's being done and being done through the Mac OS system is pretty cool.
Yeah. Mike or Eric, do you want anything else before we wrap on this one?
Chuck described a an issue that's been around in software development for ages, and that's kind of the bullet point wars, right? When one company comes up with a new bullet point, the other company has to come up with that same bullet point, then they come up with another one, then the original company comes up with theirs to match it, and they go back and forth and back and forth. And when we used to stand there in the we used to stand there. This is my copy of OS 10. When we used to stand there in the store reading the back of the box and looking at all these bullet points here on the side of it, like, oh yeah, okay, this is great. Look, now it's got smart folders and voiceover. Man, oh, look at that. And then you go to the next box and you're like, oh wait, but this one has this other feature that the other one didn't have. And you just go back. I mean, that's a classic in the antivirus software world. They just go back and forth to get you paying that $80-$90 a year to keep upgrading their software.
Yep.
That said, I tend to not bounce around between new things all the time. I find something that works well for me and I stick with it. And the thing that I have stuck with, and I think has continued to grow and expand its feature set again and again and again, is Mac Whisper. I love Mac Whisper.
Yeah,
and it integrates with all the different services, including, I pulled it up, OpenAI and Anthropic and Grok and, how do you pronounce it, XAI and DeepSeek and custom OpenAI API endpoints and Azure AI models and all this stuff. And they just introduced a new large language model that's faster than ever than the ones that they've had before. And all these upgrades continue to be free to me. Every time they improve the product, I don't have to pay more to get those upgrades. They just roll them out to me and I've got them. Kind of like ChronoSync. ChronoSync is another app that does that sort of thing. So when something comes along that works really well for me, I stick with it. And Mac Whisper's ability to transcribe and separate audio by speaker and things like that just works really well. So that's what I use.
Yeah. Speaking of ChronoSync, I just saw there's version 12's coming out pretty soon.
It is, yeah.
So.
And it's free. If you're
it's free. Yeah. How about that? I couldn't believe it.
I love that developers still do that.
Yeah. Eric, anything you want to add?
Just that in the race to add features and roll out new versions, and the changes are happening so fast that organizations haven't had a chance to actually catch up to any of this. So I'm finding in a lot of places it's just sort of a blanket no, you can't use any of them, because by the time we get around to start an evaluation, it no longer exists. It's been replaced with something else, and we don't know if it's secure or not secure. We don't have enough people to deal with it, so we'll get back to it. And so hopefully there'll be a short pause at some point, and that'll give organizations a chance to catch up, do evaluations, and be able to let people actually use some of the stuff and not spend all their time trying to block it.
Yep. Okay.
And that's why I work at home.
Yes, indeed. Okay, last week, and I forgot to mention last week we did a live In Touch with iOS, as everybody heard. Please go back and listen to episode 367. We had absolute blast, and you'll hear all that stuff. But we did talk about last week is the HomeKit Wemo devices we're gonna be shutting down at the end of the year. But their HomeKit may actually keep some of the Wemo devices alive after it's shut down in 2026. Belkin did decide to pull the plug on Wemo app, and this is what means that they will stop working. Won't work in HomeKit anymore. But there are a list of devices here that are going to be still supported through the official Wemo app. So there will be some left, but you also have to add them to HomeKit before January 31st, 2026, or do it sooner, to avoid the pleasant surprise that will stop working. So you can still use them as long as they're added. But who wants to live that way? Because if one time you remove it, you're done. You can't add it back. So I think it's time to move on from Wemo. It's obvious that Belkin doesn't want to be in this business anymore with these products. So what do you think on this, Eric?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a box of plugs that I won't need anymore.
Yeah, pretty
But
much.
yeah, I think you're right. I'm not sure what I will switch to because right now I have 2 network connections and I use the smart plug to be able to remotely reboot
Yep.
my router, so I don't have to go find it, unplug it, plug it back in again.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm sad.
Yep. I am too. I have a few of them myself. So, Mike, I think you said you had some of the Wemo devices, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I don't. I don't have any.
Oh, you don't have any. Okay, so you're good.
Yeah, if anybody wants to get my opinion on this, at the risk of repeating myself, just go listen to Mac Voices Live the other day, where you can hear my screed about switching over to open devices instead of all these closed source systems like this. But yeah, I agree. I mean, what are you going to do? You have no choice. It's a closed system. It's going to stop working, and you're out however many hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars you've invested in this stuff. It's all out the window. And that's why open systems are going to be better in the future once we can get those standards in place.
Yep. Chuck, thoughts?
If we can get those standards in place. Yeah, I said this too previously. It's going to make me a bit more hesitant to invest in anything Belkin, because this just seems like one of those things that, and I mean, one of the reasons I bought the Wemo or tried to standardize on the Wemo was because it was Belkin, and they have been super stable as a company, and so this just really is a kick in the teeth, and so certain things you kind of expect them to come and go, but something like this, and especially since they were HomeKit compatible, I would have almost understood if they'd said, okay, we're going to drop the Wemo, whatever model it is, for the Wemo, Superstar, that then will have Thread and Matter but be backward compatible. So that, in my mind, would have encouraged me to stick with Wemo and start to replace as I had the need. And as it is, it's exactly the opposite. It means that I'm going to completely move away from Wemo and Belkin. So it's a big disappointment.
Marty, your last word.
Yeah, I guess Wemo no mo.
Good one.
I have always had problems setting up home automation. The little thing that the one time I use it is lights on, lights off when we go on vacation or we go on a long trip. My dad had an analog solution that I'm reminded of. I guess you'd call it analog. Remember, you used to buy those really big boxes that you'd plug into an outlet, and it would be like 24 hours, and you could flick which switch on and which switches you want off. That's what we used to automate our lighting in our house when we went to Wisconsin on vacation. It didn't require any internet service whatsoever. It didn't require HomeKit. I'm about ready to go back to the Stone Age with that.
And we still use them at Christmas.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like this is kind of a trend here with browsers. The browsers that are linked with AI platforms. So we talked about OpenAI going to be coming out with their own browser pretty soon here, and then now Perplexity, which I actually started using. I got, there was a $10 discount for the first month, and I wanted to see how it was to compare it with ChatGPT. I'm kind of liking it a little bit. I'm going to give it some more of a chance, and but I tend to be going to ChatGPT more, but that's another topic. But they are launching a browser called Comet. It's going to be an AI-based browser, and it's going to be it's been, like I said, been very busy with AI-based browsing with like OpenAI. So it's going to be built on Chromium, and it's going to be obviously using Perplexity as its default search engine. It's going to be comes with a sidebar assistant that can summarize pages, answer questions, and even take actions on the user's behalf, booking hotels, sending emails, and buying products. So the goal, according to the CEO, so that was reported, is to transform the entire browsing session into a single seamless interaction. What do you guys think about this? I'll go back with you, Mike, and using a browser that has an actual integrated AI.
Why? I don't see the point. It's based on Chromium, so if you're running Big Sur, forget it. You're not going to be able to use it. No, I'm kidding.
That's right.
It is based on Chromium. I don't. Good, great. So the few people who care are going to download it and use it, but nobody else in the world's going to use it. It's just a waste of time. Just show people how to set your, set Perplexity as your search engine, and you'll get the exact same effect in any web browser.
Yep. Chuck, how about you? What do you think on this? I'm not kind of agreeing with you on that. What do you think, Chuck?
The jury's out. This is one of those action items I mentioned from MacStock that I need to go and check this out. I will say though that I've had a recent experience in the last couple of weeks where I went to research a particular product, and I ended up querying ChatGPT. I did the Google thing, and I found all the information, and I started building a spreadsheet about the comparisons of prices and all that. And then I thought, hey, let's take a shot at this. And so I queried it with ChatGPT, and it did a better job than I did of researching it. It put it into a grid for me so that I could say, okay, eliminate this particular model, or do any models have this feature? And it would just do a live update, so that in probably 15 minutes, I had a matrix that would let me look at all the features that mattered to me about that product and make an informed decision. And once I made an informed decision, then I went to the selected product and made sure that everything was accurate. But it really gave me a taste for, okay, this is something I could have and would have done manually. And instead, it facilitated it for me and let me tweak it exactly the way I would have tweaked it. So I'm wondering if the AI experience in a browser is going to be similar to this.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't know.
Yeah. Marty?
Yeah, when we first talked about the story, I went to sign up for it, and I am on the wait list because I'm unwilling to pay $200 a month to get it right now.
Yeah.
And we'll see if it rolls out. This is kind of my thing, so I'm interested to see what it's like. But gee, with all the Chromium shaming tonight, as soon as this show's over, I'm going to set Firefox as my default browser.
That a boy.
Just go cold turkey.
You got to. Eric, you got the last word on this.
I might just leave it with Marty, because so far I have just been avoiding a lot of the AI stuff simply because I can't use it at work right now.
Okay.
So
Makes
I'm
sense.
giving the products a chance to mature.
Yep.
And then I will come back to it.
That's a smart idea. Let's go ahead and move on to some news stories. Apple News Plus is launching a clever new emoji game for iOS 18 or later. Apple's expanding its collection of Apple News Plus puzzles with yet another new game. This time, Apple is tapping into something we all know and love, emoji. The new emoji game was initially announced as part of iOS 26 and WWDC, but the game, however, is now rolling out to all iPhone users running iOS 18.4 or later, as well as iPadOS 18.4 and macOS 15.4. So Apple explains that the emoji game challenges players to use a selection of emoji to fill in the blanks of short phrases in a few moves as possible. Results can be shared in the Game Center, messages or mail, and other apps. And the emoji game will also integrate with Apple Games app, which is coming later this year as part of iOS 26. And emoji game does utilize Apple Intelligence and Genmoji. So some of the emoji characters you'll see throughout the game will be generated with the Genmoji feature, but they aren't just normal Unicode emoji characters. So will you guys play this game? I mean, you obviously have to be using a News Plus to do that. So not all of us here are News Plus members. How about you, Marty?
If it's not a zucchini chasing a donut down the street, I don't get what emojis are at all.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff Gammett.
That day, yeah. You're filtering this inner Jeff here. Chuck, would you play this?
I don't play games.
No. Okay.
I just don't. So, you know.
You said that like a
how to take
mafia.
that-
You said that like a mafia does.
Yeah, you
know?
did. I don't know how I could take that phrase, right? You just said.
Huh.
The games.
Yeah, every Tuesday night somehow.
Well, that's different. I mean, because we're not pursuing points or gold or levels or anything. So,
Yeah. Derek, are you going to play this game?
Well, I've kind of tried a couple of times. Maybe. Yeah, I'm more of a solitaire person because I want something that I don't have to think too hard. I'm just trying to kill time while I wait for something to download, and keeps me from pressing reboot because it didn't happen fast enough and creating more work. Occasionally I'll do a crossword puzzle. This kind of is closer to crossword puzzle than solitaire. You have to think a little bit more. Doesn't totally make sense to me, but it held my interest long enough that I went back a couple of times. So the jury's still out.
Yeah. Speaking of that solitaire, I probably should admit this, but I do play it every single day because that's one of the best solitaire games that's out there in Apple Arcade. And I shouldn't admit this, but I'm on a streak of 260 days of winning a hand. So there's one game I'm kind of addicted to. Mike, would you even attempt this game?
No. My thought was cool. Great. No, I don't subscribe to News Plus. I suppose this is another way for Apple to beg me to subscribe to News Plus, because I get begged every time I go into News Plus to please try a trial. Please try a trial. I really don't want it. I get my free games, or no, not free games. I get my ad-free games through Netflix. A lot of people don't know that there are a bunch of games available for you to download free if you have a Netflix subscription. And because we have the Netflix subscription, I have found an awesome solitaire that I play every single day, like you guys, and I love it. I love it because it's really hard to find an ad-free solitaire in the App Store now. There used to be some fantastic ones, and then they started injecting ads in them, and you stop playing them. But this solitaire from the Netflix apps is quite good. Now, I mean, yeah, like Eric said, it's kind of like a crossword-ish type puzzle. It probably would be fun, I suppose. It doesn't really flip my trigger, so no. I mean, I'm not going to subscribe to News Plus to get it. Let's put it that way.
I hear you. Yeah. All right, let's a couple more stories before we wrap up. Rode, my favorite products, including my Rodecaster Duo, and I've got probably at least 5 or 6 other Rode products that I spend lots of money on. I have this one as well. This is the Rode did add some new features to the AirPods of lav mics for iPhone. We're living in the future, and Rode's new wireless micro hardware is basically an AirPods of lav mics for your iPhone. Product consists of 2 wireless lavalier microphones, a USB-C wireless receiver that connects them to your iPhone or your iPad, and a compact charging case that charges over USB-C. And if you've been trying these out for a few, they've been trying this out for a couple months now, and it's honestly blown away about the state of art technology. And I would agree with this. This really is great. It launched back in November 2024, and now Rode has sweetened the deal in several ways. And now you're going to have this most compact way of turning your USB-C smartphone into a tablet portable recording device, and literally the whole system in your pocket. The charging case is about the size of a PowerBeats Pro charging case, and makes it for ideal impromptu video creation and with high fidelity audio capture. So you go through the audio recording works whether you're using the Rode Capture app or the built-in camera app to record video. So Rode gives you a lot more creative control, including ability to record mixed tracks. So this guy is a pretty awesome device. I know, Marty, you have this, and have you been using it much? I need to use it more, honestly.
I'm not sure I have the Is this the same set that we had gotten to? Because there's another set that's I think a little more expensive than this that I have. Because I'm looking at the specs I'm looking to see the specs on it. I'm curious what the difference is between this and the set that I have. It looks like it has a direct receiver that will plug in instead of the set that I have has a dongle. You have to it hangs off the side of your phone basically as you do it.
And as always, I have it at my fingertips. Here it is. Those are the mics that are in there, and then it has the receiver that plugs into the bottom of the iPhone. Then it does have the little fuzzies, the filters like this mic has that you can attach to those mics, so you have the wind filter on it too. And it's pretty awesome, I must say. These mics, just an impromptu recording of video. Chuck, maybe you're out and doing a CES recording. You could have it hooked up to your iPhone if you wanted to do a quick recording and not have to set up your gear. You're not ready to set up or something like that. People who are out doing recording all the time. I think this is a really good product. And Rode makes amazing products. So.
And for the price point, because the one that I was referring to was the Rode Wireless Go 2 dual channel wireless system.
This one that I finally got to work because we couldn't get it work last week. And I've got both, of course. These wireless mics are just amazing. I mean, even the Wireless Go 2 has just really high quality sound. So, anybody else have any thoughts on this? Would you get this, Chuck, if you wanted to record with your iPhone or iPad?
Yeah, I need to look into it. I mean, the rig that I'm currently working with, I've got the DJI mic system that works with that. But I'm always tweaking things or figuring out ways to do things. So I like the idea of this. I just have to figure out how to work it.
Yeah,
I need more gear, Dave.
Yeah, we all do. This room has gotten beyond all over the place with stuff I have here. Mike, something this would interest you in using this?
This is exclusively for iOS devices.
iPhone or iPad, yep.
Yeah. The price is great, $150. I mean, you can't beat that, especially for Rode. Rode makes fantastic microphones. I've got a couple Rode mics. I've moved to Shure for audio recording, on the Mac. Sure. And I have a Hollyland wireless mic system. The reason I wouldn't use it, and maybe the Rode takes care of this problem, but I have major issues with iOS's inability to allow me to use a different output audio device than my input audio device. That was a major problem when I was trying to do a live stream from my phone earlier this year. And unless or until that issue is resolved, I'm not even going to bother trying. So, that's kind of where I'm at with it. No, probably not. But it's a nice set. Like I said, Rode makes really good stuff. So if this is where you're at, if you're looking for that type of thing, I would recommend that, or the DJI like Chuck has. I think that's another great set. Lots of great portable lav mics these days.
Oh yeah, there
but
is.
For $150, go Rode for sure.
Yeah, go for it. Eric, anything you want to add?
Oh, this is so cool. I'm in so much trouble.
You're welcome.
Next day delivery, Eric, you got one coming to you?
Oh, I'm not going to admit that. But if you see something wireless talking to my Vision Pro in the future, you'll know who was the cause.
There you go.
I just can't pull the trigger on it. I've got the DJIs and I've got the Rodes, and I just can't see getting a third set for the amount that I use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's such a good price, Marty.
Never mind. Chuck, I will take that money and put it in a bank account so you can get an Apple Vision Pro.
I
Pro.
knew
Wow.
that was coming.
I knew that was coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should have one in 12, 14 years?
Yeah.
If you invest wisely.
All right. Two more quick stories before we wrap up. Vimeo is actually bringing back the Apple TV app. the video hosting sharing platform Vimeo has announced the launch of the updated Apple TV app, bringing it back to the Apple TV App Store for the first time in over 2 years. The updated Vimeo app has been rebuilt, and it's available on the Apple TV units running tvOS 18 or higher. And the app supports discovering, searching for, and watching videos that have been uploaded to Vimeo. Includes a library, a watch later, and a section on on-demand purchases, as well as staff picks and enabled playback with chapters, speed controls, multi-language options. 4K support is also available with this. While the Vimeo app was missing from the Apple TV App Store, Vimeo users had to use AirPlay to actually use it. So now it's back. And Mike, you use Vimeo, do you not?
I do use Vimeo. All the MaxTalk Digital Pass videos are on stored on Vimeo. That's
Right.
primarily what I use it for, is a video storage and distribution system. Why was it gone? Do we know? Why was it gone?
It doesn't say. I just, maybe they dropped it for a while and maybe they wanted to rebuild it.
It never disappeared from Roku. So I was just kind of curious why it was off the Apple TV.
Yeah, very weird.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to add anything to this?
I'd like to. I'm a romantic at heart. You guys know this, and I'd like to think that Vimeo's recent embracing of storing spatial videos and being able to do spatial videos on their platform has warmed Apple's heart, and they decided to put that together and create a baby called the Apple TV app.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that story.
Yeah. And do you want anything, add anything, Chuck?
Tell us more, Uncle Marty. I don't
You
know
just
what
took
the
that
reason
from
is.
it was a very heartwarming story, and you just turned me into a sick old uncle. But
No,
go ahead.
no, it was. I thought you were just a cuddly old uncle. No, it weren't.
He is a romantic, though. He left a single rose on the lectern at MaxTalk stage for me most of the day. Yeah.
It was a
Aw.
white rose representing a funeral, but it was it was a
It was
rose.
still a rose. It was still a rose. Lots of thorns on it, but it was still a rose.
I will say that I like the fact that Vimeo has done this, because Vimeo is a really terrific platform for hosting your videos. It has a lot of flexibility from a security standpoint, so that if you want to lock down your videos, you can. If you want to make them public, you can. You have all kind of licensing options, and they are not ad supported either, because you can't. I mean, you have to buy a Vimeo account to host your videos, but so it's just the fact that they've brought it back to Apple TV. I'm really happy about that.
Yeah. All right. And then last story here is Apple TV Plus is looking to possibly take over Sunday Night Baseball because ESPN has backed out and dropped out of this. The ESPN had opted out of a deal over $550 million a year, leaving this the primetime slot up for grabs. Also with rights to the home run derby and playoff rounds, so you could be watching playoffs on Apple TV Plus. Their Apple already, of course, is in the game with Friday Night Baseball, which is fairly popular among baseball fans. But according to CNBC, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred has named Apple and NBC as possible destinations for this package. So NBC might be jumping on that too. Who knows? Yeah, I think it's a good thing, and we're seeing Apple just jumping on all kinds of stuff. Apple had 81 Emmy nominations for a lot of their shows, and then now they've expanded to this, and they already have the MLS in sports, and they're looking at F1 we talked about. So more sports coming on Apple TV Plus. So, do you like this, Marty?
Yeah, I like it. You guys know I'm a baseball fan, more so than the other sports that are out there. So it'll be fun if they get a Sunday night, the Sunday night baseball slot.
Yep. Anybody want to add anything else to this?
As long as it doesn't raise my subscription price. I don't watch enough sports on Apple TV Plus, or make it an add-on and say, hey, okay, it's $9.99 a month. You want the sports, it's going to be an extra $3. if they can keep the base $9.99 and still include this, cool. Maybe I'll turn on a game from time to time, but I don't want to see it affect my bottom line so Marty can watch the Cubs.
I already do.
He already does.
On MLB. On MLB. Yeah.
For people listening to the audio, I'm laughing right now.
The Friday night baseball, they don't charge extra for it. So, but it's hard to say what whatever they negotiate with MLB, whether it happens or not. So, all right. So that is the show. But before we go, I want to make sure that we have, of course, we talked about MacStock. MacStock 9 is wrapped up. Mike, tell us about the digital pass and what you can do to purchase this.
You are incredibly generous, Dave. Thank you for letting me share that. The digital pass is something that we came up with in 2018 for folks who couldn't make it to MacStock in person. Of course, everybody who attends in person gets a copy of the digital pass so that they can watch this year's talks on demand, if they want to catch something that they missed during a presentation. But if you weren't able to make it, you can also get the digital pass. And it's all 3 days of MacStock sessions. So it's the on-demand recordings of Friday sessions, Saturday sessions, Sunday sessions. We mentioned, what was that? That was 6 workshops and 9, regular sessions, 45-minute sessions, tons of content, more than we've ever had in the digital pass before. And there might even be some in-between or after session stuff stuck in there too. As I edit it, I'm like, ooh, that's kind of cool, and I'll leave it in there. But that's really what it is. Thank you. If anybody wants it, they can go to macstockconference.com, and right on the homepage at the top, there is a button to click and purchase the digital pass. And it is $149 for all 3 days of content. And I hope to have it edited and out and ready to go within, we're 5 days in. I'm going to lose 5 days. I'm going to have to say 30 to 45 days after MacStock weekend, somewhere in there. Used to take longer, but thanks to the amazing efforts of Roger Harmon and his directorial skills at the production desk, that saves me a bunch of time. So I'm able to get that done much quicker. So,
I have a link in the show notes that's going to direct you to that purchase. And that's well worth the price of admission. If you weren't able to make it, that's very fair. And go check that out. And you will love it because you'll get to see all of our great presentations that happened at MacStock 9. So, awesome. All right.
Thanks so much,
with
Dave.
that, you're welcome. We're always supporting MacStock. So with that, let's go ahead and wrap up for this week. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Blue Sky and Mastodon at In Touch with iOS. Support the show by buying me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We'd really appreciate it. You can become a Patreon of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and so you're notified when we are live streaming, which is Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/intouchwithios. Thanks, Web Bixby, for stopping in, and a couple others that were out there. Appreciate it. We always start streaming live, so you can watch us as we record the show. We also have on there, you can watch the current and past live streams, as well as you can listen to past shows. Visit In Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard, where many of the topics we discuss are flipped into that magazine. The link is in our show notes. You can subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, but many others. But better yet, go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where all the links are there to listen to us. Right there on that site. I am Dave Ginsburg. You can find me on Blue Sky and Mastodon at DaveG65. And Mike Potter, thank you so much for being here. Where can people find you?
Oh, thank you again for having me. This is always a blast. Well, folks can find me at my podcast, For Mac Eyes Only, at formaceyesonly.com. And coincidentally, we also have a YouTube channel at youtube.com/FMEOTV. And this Saturday, the 19th, at 1 o'clock Central Time, we're going to be doing our own wrap-up episode of MacStock. Yep. And we're going to have folks like Dave Ginsburg and Brian Flanagan Arthurs, and Chuck Joyner, and Allison Sheridan is going to be joining us too. So I think it's going to be a great chat, and we'll see what comes out of that one too. And then, of course, other parts of the year, you might find me at max.conference.com. I've got this little thing I do in July every summer, and next year is going to be the 10th. So I'm excited about
Number
that.
10. Number 10.
Thanks,
Mike.
Dave.
And Eric Bolden, thank you for being here. Where can people find you?
Lots of fun. I can be found on Mastodon at EA Bolden at mes.to and Blue Sky at EA Bolden. Otherwise, Mondays on Vision Profiles, Tuesdays on Mac Voices, and Thursdays here on In Touch with iOS, covering all of my OSs.
You have all the OSs covered. You cover all your bases there. Marty Gencius, where can people find you? Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. And Monday nights with Eric and with Dave on Vision Profiles at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find us on YouTube or pick it up later. Tuesdays with Chuck on Mac Voices. Thursdays here with Dave Ginsburg and the group on In Touch with iOS. And if you want to find the other projects I'm doing, the podcasts and things that I'm involved in, go to thepodtalk.net is the website that has links and information on all of that. And you can catch me at Gencius, Jencius, at mastodon.social, or the same Jencius at Blue Sky. Thanks, Dave.
Great. Thank you, Marty. And Chuck Joyner, thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure having you here. Where can people find you?
Thank you, Dave, as always. MacVoices.com is where you can find everything. We are playing a little bit of catch up after the Road to Macstock shows. We're occupying a lot of time in the feeds. So we have a lot of Mac Voices Live content out there, but some other things coming down the road too. So check it out again at MacVoices.com. The live shows Tuesday nights, as was mentioned before, on YouTube at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. And you can find me on pretty much all the socials as at Chuck Joyner. Thanks again, Dave.
Thank you, Chuck. And thank everybody out there for watching, listening, and joining us. We always enjoy doing this show and hope you enjoy it. But until next time, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we'll talk again soon. Thank you very much. Yay. Good job. Great show.
It's fun, as always.
Yeah. Well, always seem to find some good topics. So I'm going to go say goodbye to the live stream. See you later.